Helpless,
तो मैंने कहा 2 घंटे हो गए, अब लड़की मेरी दिला दो, तो कि अभी नहीं मिलेंगी तेरी लड़की, कहीं देखना पेड़े पे टंगी हुई है।
powerless. It is the dark ages in Uttar Pradesh. The Chief Minister smiles, hides behind words.
कुछ लोग जानबूझ करके चुनाव के बाद आरोप लगा रहे हैं।
This is Akhilesh Pradesh. 0% administration, 100% apathy.
What is happening in Akhilesh's rule? Here, cops brazenly taunt the parents of 2 teenage rape victims. They fearlessly tell the father that his daughters would be found hanging from a tree, and they are. Here, cops push away anxious relatives. Is it because the Chief Minister blames the media, points at the rising crime graph in other states, but does not utilize the same time or energy to penalize his forces to rein in the goons? Under your watch, Mr. Chief Minister, it is Jungle Raj in Uttar Pradesh.
Attacked late at night, gang raped and murdered. The brutalized bodies of 2 teenage girls in UP's Budaun, found hanging on Wednesday morning from this mango tree. Chillingly, local police in Katara village appear to have known. They refused to file an FIR and instead taunted the girls' parents.
सर्वे सिपाही ने कहा तेरी लड़की 2 घंटे बाद मिल जाएंगी, तो मैंने कहा 2 घंटे हो गए, अब लड़की मेरी दिला दो, तो कि अभी नहीं मिलेंगी तेरी लड़की, कहीं देखना पेड़े पे टंगी हुई है। उसी सिपाही ने आके यहाँ देख के बताया जाके घर पे मेरे कि वो पेड़े पे टंगी हुई है।
घर से मैं आया तो ये लड़की खींच के ले गई, मैं देखता भागता रहा हूँ।
पुलिस में शिकायत की आपने, पुलिस वालों ने क्या कहा?
तो पुलिस के पास में गए।
The girls, both Dalits, were abducted by 3 persons, Pappu, Brijesh and Avdesh, on Tuesday night at 9. When anxious relatives approached the police for help 2 hours later, they were thrown out and asked to wait for 2 to 3 hours before the sun rose on Wednesday. Their ravaged corpses were found hanging from a tree. The ghastly attack triggered protests, forcing an FIR against 7 persons, including constables Akhilesh Yadav and Sarvesh Yadav, who have been named co-accused and suspended. Of the 3 accused, only Pappu Yadav has been arrested so far. With signature apathy, the Chief Minister remains unmoved.
कानून व्यवस्था बेहतर हो और व्यवस्थाएं बेहतर हो, उसके लिए लगातार सरकार काम कर रही है।
If these images don't stun Akhilesh into action, nothing will. For now, a political fight has broken out. Uttar Pradesh has been riven by a shameless series of similar cases, reducing several parts of the state to medieval torture chambers. The country's new Women and Child Development Minister held a meeting today to decide a course of action. But will the 2 murdered teenagers fall between the cracks, like most victims?
We've got breaking news now coming in that the postmortem on the Budaun teenagers has confirmed rape and murder. The postmortem report says that the girls were hanged before their death, meaning they were first gang raped and then hung from the tree. The death was due to hanging. Also, out of the 7 people named in the case, 5 have been arrested, including 1 policeman. Joining us on part 2 of the centre stage debate tonight, we've got Gaurav Bhatia, leader of the Samajwadi Party. We've got Nalin Kohli representing the BJP, Sharad Pradhan, veteran journalist from Lucknow, and we've also got Sudhindra Baduria from the BSP. But I first want to go across to my colleague Ankit Tyagi, who's joining us from Budaun. Ankit, give our viewers a sense of what you're picking up on the ground, because this story becomes even more horrific because the postmortem now establishes that they were alive when they were hanged on that tree. Why did no one step in and try and help them out, Ankit?
Well, that's what we have learnt. In fact, Rahul, we went to the village also. The family is saying that it is because the people are from the upper caste. They belong from the same clan, which is the ruling clan here, and that is why nobody came out and helped the girls. We have got the exclusive access to the post-mortem report, which says that the girls were hung, they were alive and they were hung. I spoke to the SSP of Budaun just a few minutes back. There has been a third arrest. That's the breaking, that's the latest we have. Third arrest has been made in this case. Out of the 5 people, those who have been named, 3 are brothers. So 2 brothers along with 1 constable has been arrested. 1 constable and the 3rd brother are still absconding. The police has suspended the entire police post of that village. I also have this report in my hand. This is the report that has been made by the city SSP. He is sending it to the higher officials in Lucknow, and also this is the report that will be submitted tomorrow to the Women Commission and also to the SC/ST Commission. The police has now in fact registered the case under section 295, 376, 302, 120B and also in 3 and 8 of the POSCO Act. They are saying that the girls, in fact, were kidnapped, and after they were raped, they were killed. The family is saying that the police did not help them. They want the accused to be hung. On the other hand, there are murmurs in the village, which some few people are saying, those who are the supporters of the accused are saying that it's a case of honor killing. Very complex situation as far as this village is concerned. But as of now, the combing operations from the police is on. They are saying by tomorrow morning, all the 5 accused will be arrested.
Okay, stay with us, Ankit, because that's not the only horror story from Uttar Pradesh this evening. Helpless and powerless in Akhilesh Raj, Uttar Pradesh has slipped into darkness. Angry protests and cries of misrule don't change anything here. The state is reeling from a massive power cut. Trade is suffering, as is the common man. But does the Chief Minister care? The Samajwadi Party is being charged with pushing those areas of the state into darkness that dared to vote for the BJP in the recent Lok Sabha elections. Why else are Azamgarh and Kannauj enjoying electricity up to 22 hours every day, whereas places like Varanasi have to suffer power cuts going up to 14-15 hours? The BJP alleges people who voted for the Bharatiya Janata Party and for Narendra Modi are being made to pay for doing so.
Uttar Pradesh is on the boil. As the mercury soars and power cuts rise, tempers are flaring. Can Akhilesh prove wrong the allegations as complaints pile up of Samajwadi Party's revenge, power cut tactic?
अब ऐसा हमें लग रहा है कि सरकार, उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार जो है बदले भावना से काम कर रही है और वो 24 घंटे इटावा में दे रहे हैं, मैनपुरी में दे रहे हैं, सारी बिजली वहीं दे रहे हैं और यहाँ और बाकी पूरे प्रदेश में जनता रहती नहीं। उनको ये लग रहा है कि बाकी जनता जो है दूसरे मिट्टी की बनी हुई है। वो हमें लग रहा है कहीं न कहीं बदले भावना से काम कर रहे हैं।
बनारस में लाइट की स्थिति बहुत ही खराब है। लाइट पानी बिल्कुल नहीं है, लाइट बहुत ज़्यादा जा रही है। ऐसा लग रहा है कि अखिलेश सरकार मोदी जी को जिताने का हम लोगों को सजा दे रही है।
भाई चुनाव के पहले तो बहुत अच्छी लाइट मिल रही थी रायबरेली सिटी में, बट चुनाव के बाद से ये जो कटौती शुरू हो गई है ये समझ में नहीं आ रही है क्या रीज़न है इसका। बताया जाता है कि फॉल्ट आ गया है, कुछ भी हो गया है।
परेशानी इतनी ज़्यादा है कि जब से सपा की सरकार आई है ये हार गई है इसमें इलेक्शन में पूरी तरह से एकदम लाइट नहीं दे रहे, ना के बराबर दे रहे। 4-5 घंटे लाइट आ रही है।
आम जनता को इतनी परेशान है क्योंकि आजकल मल्टी स्टोरी बिल्डिंग बन गई है, उनमें अगर बिजली नहीं आएगी तो पानी तो आता ही नहीं है, बिना मोटर चलेगी नहीं बिना बिजली के। तो बहुत परेशान है, लोगों के घरों में पानी नहीं है, खरीद के पानी पी रहे, नहाने तक के लिए बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है।
What is strange? The state's industrial nerve center, Kanpur, is facing acute power shortage. BJP's Murli Manohar Joshi won the Lok Sabha polls from here riding the Modi wave. But despite the vociferous protests, there is no relief. But in neighbouring Kannauj, that voted for Dimple Yadav, the orders are clear. Supply electricity 24/7.
आज चुनाव हुए उसके बाद भी लाइट ठीक मिल रही है। अगर डिम्पल जी चुनाव हार जाती तो हो सकता था लाइट नहीं मिलती।
Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav does what he knows best. He hands out promises, excuses and denials, even as political charges mount.
मोदी को वोट देने की सजा जनता को मिल रही है, ये मैं नहीं कहता, ये उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार में कई अधिकारियों ने जनता से जब बिजली को लेकर उन्होंने सवाल किया तो उन अधिकारियों ने ये कहा कि वोट दीजिएगा मोदी को और बिजली मांगेगा मुलायम सिंह से और समाजवादी पार्टी से। ये उनके आधिकारिक बयान है।
एक एक सीट को तरस जाओगे वरना कानपुर को बिजली कटौती से मुक्त करो। हमारी राज्य सरकार ऐसे मौके पर हाथ धरे बैठी है।
कुछ लोग जानबूझ करके चुनाव के बाद आरोप लगा रहे हैं।
The state was already reeling under massive cuts, the demand for power increasing as temperatures shot up. But after the Lok Sabha poll debacle, power cuts in the day have become more frequent and drastic. Night rostering too has become unscheduled, with snags only adding to the woes. As electricity projects remain pending, there is no pressure on defaulters to pay dues to the tune of over 27,000 crore rupees. And there's more bad news. The government is planning to further hike power tariff to make up for the loss and add to the common man's burdens. Students and housewives, professionals and traders, the common man is powerless in Akhilesh Pradesh. As the state cries out in darkness, the chief minister, who has been in power for over 2 years now, is yet to provide relief, yet to prove that he is in charge.
BJP leaders say that this is the reward for people of UP for voting in Modi. And they prove their point by putting forward the statistics between 7th May and 17th May, where power supply by the state has come down from 152 megawatts to 133 megawatts. With Anup Srivastav and camera person Salim, this is Amir Haq in Lucknow for Headlines Today.
This is absolutely unfair. Joining us on center stage tonight, Gaurav Bhatia representing the Samajwadi Party, Nalin Kohli from the BJP, Sharad Pradhan, veteran journalist from Lucknow, and Sudhindra Bhaduria from the BSP. I want to go across first to Gaurav Bhatia, because Gaurav, what we are seeing is that in places like Kannauj and in places like Azamgarh, there is electricity up to 22 hours every day. Whereas in places like Kanpur, in places like Varanasi, people are getting electricity only for 8-10 hours. Everyone in these cities is complaining that they are being penalized for not voting for the Samajwadi Party and for voting for Modi instead, Gaurav.
Rahul, in fact, let me just clear this wrong notion that is being spread by political parties for their own personal political gain. According to the Gadgil formula that was evolved, and the center is supposed to distribute and allocate electricity and power to the state of UP is entitled for 6,082 megawatts, and you would be shocked to know that we are only getting 4,400 megawatts from the center. And in fact, you know what is worrisome for the state government is
Gaurav,
before the elections,
you're going off on a more macro point. I'm making a simple point.
No,
in the manner in which the electricity is being distributed across Uttar Pradesh, Kannauj is getting 22 hours, Azamgarh is getting 22 hours, Varanasi and Kanpur are getting 8 to 10 hours. How do you explain that?
That is the also to go forward in the debate. I just wanted to point out to you that in fact it is worrisome for us that before the elections, the central government was giving us 115 million units on 7th of May. Now on 25th of May, the power came down to 90 million units, and today it was again 105 million units less than the
came down to 90 million units, and today it was again 105 million units less than the earlier quota that the state of UP was getting. There is a deficit that the state government is now trying to clear and provide extra electricity.
Sharad Pradhan, you're on the ground in Lucknow.
We are experiencing
is the Samajwadi Party defense any good? They're suggesting that there's a much larger deficit, and there is a problem. There's no dispute about that. But whatever electricity there is being allocated preferentially to those areas that voted for the Samajwadi Party. We've heard you, Gaurav. Just give me a moment. I want to go across to Sharad Pradhan, and I'm coming right back to you. Mr. Pradhan. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm going back to Mr. Pradhan in just a second. I want to put that question to Nalin Kohli, because the point that is being made by Gaurav Bhatia is that electricity is not coming in from the central grid. Now that is where Piyush Goyal the Narendra Modi government have taken over. What are you going to do, given the fact that you've got more than 70 MPs from UP? What are you going to do to ensure that electricity is made adequately available to the entire state?
Well, I think there are two parts of this question. The first is Gaurav Bhatia has chosen not to still inform your viewers or anyone else that how is it that despite shortage, Kannauj and Azamgarh are getting a lot of electricity. I mean, one would expect at least a proportionate thing across the state. Are the citizens of Uttar Pradesh to be penalized for their voting preferences? And if a government is incompetent, are they supposed to reward it just so that they get electricity through a vote? What is this kind of democracy? Second point I'd like to bring up is about the powers thing. The power condition in this country is in an abysmal position. And I mean, in the last 10 years, if you just study what are the questions related to power, it's a complex issue. It is going to be but yet done. It is not that a magic wand can come. After 10 years that the Congress UP has goofed up and created a mess in the power structure, we have our 5 years and we will solve it. But that doesn't mean,
Gaurav Bhatia, that's the first question Nalin asked, and you haven't answered that question.
No,
the
I
question
am answering your question only if you permit me to. I know
no, because Gaurav, you must answer the question that you asked. You are going off on a tangent and answering a question that you haven't been asked. The question that you are being asked is this: why is it that Kannauj and Azamgarh get 22 hours of electricity and Kanpur and Varanasi get much lesser? Answer just this question. The larger problem of electricity distribution we will deal with later. Just answer the question of preferential treatment.
Yes. Now, I hope if I would not be interrupted, I'll answer your question. That the power supply to the there is a category that have been drawn by the state government, and this was long before the elections. Even the results have nothing to do with it. Villages were given 12 hours of electricity every day. The district headquarters were supposed to get 15 hours of electricity. The major towns were allocated 18 hours of electricity. The industry especially was given 24 hours of electricity. And Varanasi and 3 or 4 more towns have been kept in a special category where they are getting more electricity than 18 hours. And this roster was drawn much before the elections. Therefore, I don't think it is justified when you say that we are only discriminating and giving preference to certain towns. This was much in place before the elections also. It was on the basis of the utilization of power in those towns and the specific needs of those towns. These categories, I have explained it to you. This is the way we have been following. In fact, you would be surprised that people from Kannauj also complained that there have been power shortages in Kannauj after the result came out because the margin was too less. So if we give electricity...
No, so okay, I've heard from you. I want to go across for an independent perspective to Sharad Pradhan, because we are seeing two different sets of claims. There are people on the ground in Kanpur, in Varanasi, whom we've been speaking to. Gaurav, don't monopolize the debate. Give everyone an equal opportunity to come in. I want to go across to Sharad Pradhan this time, because people on the ground are complaining that they are being targeted because they voted for the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections, because they voted for Modi. The SP is saying, no, the problem is much larger. We don't have adequate supply in the grid, and therefore all cities are facing an equal power cut. Where does the truth lie, Sharad Pradhan?
Well, you know that trouble lies somewhere in between. It is the fact remains that UP has been extremely bad as far as power is concerned. It is a perennial problem. In the last 20 years, all that the UP as power sector has augmented only 2,000 megawatts, whereas the demand has gone up five times. And in this case, I must, giving the, knowing that the Akhilesh government has provided extremely poor governance to Uttar Pradesh, there's no doubt about it. But where power is concerned, I checked the figures a little while ago, and from what I am told, there's some catch in this, and BJP is trying to make this particular thing an issue out of non-issue. Because the availability of power was ranging between 250 and 270 million units per day throughout the election period, and today it is 265 million units. Whereas the demand is in the range of about 300 million units. There is a shortage of 30 million units, for which the Akhilesh government did nothing in these 2 years. This is not something which has come. Summer, everybody knows summer the demand goes up, and it is not as if it has come out of the blue. Point is that the government has failed to rise to the occasion at the right time and take adequate measures. They have not gone in for purchasing power from the power exchange, not in the desired quantity which is required for the
You're
state.
saying the government hasn't made adequate preparations. Sudhindra Baduria of the BSP, the government is blaming legacy problems.
One more thing, Rahul.
Mr. Baduria.
One more thing. You know, they cannot give preferential treatment. The High Court has questioned the UP government's decision to provide preferential treatment to Dimple's constituency or to Akhlesh's constituency, to Mulayam Singh Yadav's home, or to Amethi and Raebareli in the past, and to Lucknow or Noida. You know, the High Court has very clearly issued guidelines that the UP government should not be giving this kind of preferential treatment. As a matter of fact, they raised this question as to why Allahabad, which has the seat of the High Court, was also not getting power for more than 18 hours. So, you know, the state is pathetic.
Judges may have raised those questions. I want to go across to Sudhindra Baduria because the SP says these are legacy problems, Mr. Baduria. Are they legacy problems, or do you think the government failed to understand and act in time, and therefore through the summer people in Uttar Pradesh will have a really tough time, sir?
Well, I do accept that the power problem is not only of Uttar Pradesh, it is generally there in Bihar and other states as well. But I must bring into this debate the issue of this preferential treatment being given to certain areas. You have mentioned that Azamgarh and Kannauj are being provided power for 22 hours. But just adjacent to Kannauj, his village, Sefai, it gets 24/7 electricity. So therefore, this kind of preferential treatment which is given to certain areas which are known as the VIP areas is something which people of Uttar Pradesh are not willing to accept. And coming back to this whole question, if there is shortage, let the shortage be shared by everybody, and let the government of Uttar Pradesh, you know, they should spell out their entire plan. Their priorities are set wrong. They are distributing freebies, they are distributing laptops. You see, they have to come out clearly with a plan of power as well as water, as the basic needs of Uttar Pradesh.
Nalin Kohli, how does the BJP intend to stay this? Amongst your promises, and the promise that got endorsed by voters was the promise of Achhe Din. Clearly there are bure din in Uttar Pradesh at this time. Given the problems that you face with the Samajwadi Party in the state of Uttar Pradesh, how will Modi be able to work over the head of the SP government and ensure that he delivers on his promise of Achhe Din in Uttar Pradesh? Or will you now turn around and say, till you also give us a mandate in the state, don't expect us to do very much?
I think you're confusing us with the Congress party. We don't believe in excuses. What work we have to do, we will do it. And Mr. Modi's and his government has started working from day one. No. How will I give you specifics in 72 hours when the power minister is now working on it already? He would of course come out with a plan for the country, which will include Uttar Pradesh. And if you would also like to look at it, if a government preceding us has taken 10 years to ruin every economic sector, you can't expect us to give you a solution in 72 hours. I mean, that is absolutely impossible. And I'm not going to take anyone for a ride. But we will be judged for our work, and we are confident we should be judged for our work. With regard to Uttar Pradesh, I think Uttar Pradesh, and I need to say something very specifically, even more disturbing. Your first report is extremely disturbing about what a state has come down to.
Absolutely.
That report shows beastly human behavior, it shows inhuman behavior, and even worse is what is the reaction of a chief minister. There was no concern on his face also. Such a ghastly, inhuman act against two women, and then in it, the police complexity in it. On top of it, a chief minister who's just, you know, passing it.
It's very unfortunate that Akhilesh
I think it's not unfortunate. It's condemnable, and I would like to also say that these are the kind of incidents that are actually creating a bad name. I would like to put it on the record. When a woman is molested,
I'm out of time, so I'm going to leave it over there. Nalin Kohli, Gaurav Bhatia, Sharad Pradhan. Thank you very much for joining us. Also to Sudhindra Baduria. Very, very unfortunate that Akhilesh Yadav making all these stalled promises but unable to deliver